Welcome to Globalpose News. Thousands of protesters returned to the streets of Belize on Friday to protest against the government's decision to suspend accession talks with the European Union. Demonstrators were seen shouting traitors and holding photographs of journalists who they say were beaten by police in the previous night's protests. For the second night running, police deployed tear gas and made heavy use of water cannon against the demonstrators. President Salome Zurabishvili said the resistance movement had begun and that she stood in solidarity with it. "We will remain united until Georgia achieves its goals, to return to its European path, secure new elections," she said in a televised address. More than 100 arrests were made for disobeying police officers and petty hooliganism, Georgia's Interior Ministry said in a statement. Protesters threw pyrotechnics, stones and glass bottles, it added, with 10 officers injured in the unrest. Prime Minister Irakli Kobakides thanked police on Saturday, telling a press conference they had defended Georgia's constitutional order and safeguarded the nation's sovereignty, AFP news agency reported. Meanwhile, the country's human rights ombudsman warned of brutality that has their authority during detention. Earlier on Friday, over 100 diplomats and civil servants in Georgia signed an open letter saying the government's decision did not align with Georgia's strategic interests. Defending his decision, Kobakides accused the EU of blackmail after EU legislators called for last month's parliamentary elections in Georgia to be rerun. They cited significant irregularities. Since 2012, Georgia has been governed by Georgian Dream, a party which critics say has tried to move the country away from the EU and closer to Russia. The party claimed victory in last month's election, but opposition MPs are boycotting the new parliament, alleging fraud, while the country's president Zurabishvili, who is at loggerheads with the governing party, has called the one-party parliament unconstitutional. On Thursday, the European Parliament backed a resolution describing the election as the latest stage in Georgia's worsening democratic crisis and saying that the ruling party was fully responsible. It expressed particular concern about reports of voter intimidation, vote buying and manipulation, and harassment of observers. The European Parliament also urged sanctions against Georgia's Prime Minister and other high-level officials, including the billionaire founder of the governing party Bidzina Ivanishvili. Following the resolution, Georgia's Prime Minister said his government had decided not to bring up the issue of joining the European Union on the agenda until the end of 2028. He said Georgia would still seek EU membership, but with dignity and on its own terms. Kobakides also lashed out at European politicians for hurling a cascade of insults at the Georgian government. In response, thousands of pro-EU protesters started demonstrating outside Georgian Dream offices in the cities of Belize and Kutaisi on Thursday. Protesters see the government's U-turn as a betrayal of a national aspiration. For more updates, news, views from around the globe, follow us on all our social media platforms at Globalpose.